Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Broodcast. I need to start off with a big apology to Joel Stanley because I particularly screwed up. I remember now that he has a single Google Doc versus the many Google Docs that are, a lot of people send to me, with what he wants me to read for Broodcast, and he updates it. And I forgot. Several times through the episode, I say that he never sent me something. I'm pretty sure he did. I haven't checked it, but yeah. Anyway, we're going to get to that soon. I might even just at some point do a recording with him, a Creators and Crusaders style recording, and just check up with him and talk about what he wants to do with his story, because he's been such an amazing part of the Broodcast and giving continual feedback to everybody. I've been tired lately, particularly tired, trying to get stuff done, trying to get things moving. So thank you for continuing to bear with me. Theme songs and stuff will be returning soon. I've been figuring out some ways to make it easier for me. And yeah, we're moving in the right direction. Appreciate you all. Enjoy the Broodcast.
Your day at work, I was going in expecting all this drama, and then nothing. I said a little prayer and before I walked in, and my client was asleep. I literally had no human interaction except with my supervisor. Just me, my supervisor, and the client. Just on an island. It was nice. I binge watched a few too many shows and just chilled out.
Yeah.
And ate way too.
All right, let me get framing figured out here. Oh, man. A little bit more this way. Yeah, that ain't bad for what I'm doing. Okay, let's see. Let me grab...
Is this the night we're to share our little... Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, it is. So we should be doing that tonight. I do need to check on if I have something to read for Joel. I can obviously read something for Marty. It just depends on who else shows up. I want to get one more person before we really start. So if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. That's the way I always do it. But, we can always hang at the very least. So let me see here.
Has it not happened the last couple of times?
No, it has. The last time it didn't happen, I want to say, was December. No, January. But we ended up doing a Poets at War anyway. So, we just didn't have enough people to really do a broadcast. So, because nobody was sharing but me, I think. So that was one of those.
Gotcha. I could have kept what I had shared during the Poets of War for tonight, honestly, but I'll have more later, so
yeah,
that's how that works.
Let's see, this is... Which one owns this document? Not that one.
I love the new camera these phones have.
Uh-huh. How that moves around, yeah.
Yeah, and it catches my ADHD off guard. I'll be walking by. It'll move with me.
Okay, so...
I'm making a...
You're making a what?
I was going to make, some nice pasta, but I forgot that I put the beef in the freezer, so I'm thawing that. I'm making a Stouffer's lasagna.
Gotcha. Those are pretty good.
Very easy.
For a frozen meal, they're decent. They're one of the ones that I would pick for a frozen meal.
Yeah.
I also like Stouffer's Salisbury steak and mac and cheese.
Yeah.
But I always add extra cheese to my mac and cheese. So,
Whenever I get mac and cheese, I'm always adding, if I can find spicy breaded chicken,
spicy
chicken, buffalo and ranch, and then I just like throw that in a big bowl.
Yep. Spoken like a true Chick-fil-A man.
Oh yeah. It's so good. Oh man.
Let's see. Okay, let me find what Joel sent. I believe he sent. He was going to. I don't know if he ended up.
I was nervous that I didn't write enough for the pitch, but it is literally just a pitch, not like a scene or anything.
Yeah, no. It's a pitch. Mine ended up being. I mean, like I said, it's sort of a monologue about, like, he's saying, this is my life and this is the show. It ended up being 4 pages and a little bit of overflow into a 5th, but it's nothing insane. Oh, well, I say that nice. That's at 16-point font. So, I mean, it's a little bit. So, yeah. So no, at 12-point, it is. Maybe. Let's see. What is it at 12-point? 12-point, it is what, 3 pages. So yeah,
that's about what I have if I did 16 font at 16-point font. Listen, I didn't do a whole lot since it was just a pitch. And,
right.
You know, I had other things I had to write, unfortunately.
Yeah, I hear you.
But yeah, this week is just, honestly, it's weird. Is all the drama I thought I would be having. I just ended up having a lot of fun. Like,
that's good.
Wednesday, there was a board game night, and it's really fun going to a board game night whenever I'm the secret conservative in the room, and it's like, I don't know what y'all's asses, and no one knows.
You're ridiculous.
But I'm the bad guy here, and it's so fun. Like,
yeah, I don't see anything from Joel, so it'll just be me, and if I feel like reading Marty. I'm basically just picking stuff from the book that I'm reading for him and sharing that because I said I would. So, but that's fine. That's fine.
I'm excited to do one of these with my newly developed prefrontal cortex. Cause my goodness.
Let's see. Looks like Abby said something. Let me see.
Which one? I think it was Abby with a, well, it's weird because we call Abby Adams Abby with an I, but I think she's actually Abby with a Y.
Well, she has both.
Okay.
She has a weird spelling, if that's actually the spelling of her name. But let's see.
Well, with her mother being Galadriel, I'm pretty sure that's the actual spelling of her name.
It probably is. So, yeah, both Abby's gave a heart, and Abigail Falanga said, I have a bad cold, so I'll sit this one out. Anyway, let me just tag everybody so that they see it. Everyone was whining a couple months ago about being too late, and then I make it earlier and nobody shows up for 30 minutes.
That's funny. Worked out today. I was scheduled to do a 7 to 3 shift at the group home. I need that for, oh man, I'm at 10%. Whoopsies.
Who just popped in?
Hey, Carrie.
What's up, Carrie?
Oh, no, I'm just working.
I gotcha. You sharing tonight or no?
Sharing what? What's tonight?
Anything. Broodcast.
Oh, it's Broodcast tonight. Oh. Well, as I'm on the Green Dragon, I was like, oh, cool, let's go hang out. I did not realize that Broodcast.
Yep, last Friday of the month.
Oh, crap, I don't have anything to share.
Oh, well.
I haven't written anything since,
that's okay.
Well, last time.
Well, I look forward to the continuation whenever you do get to it. Daniel and I were
Yeah.
specifically challenged by Alex to write a specific thing we can get into in a little bit. And so we both have that. I'm going to text him in a minute because he should be here for that, but he may just listen to it later. Who knows? And I may or may not read something for Marty. But that's basically Marty Frankham. But that's basically all we have right now. May wait a little bit longer, see who shows up. But yeah, that's where we're at the moment. I think we have enough people that we can at least read those things, but
honestly, I've been half tempted to. Sorry to cut you off.
Oh, you're
Finish
good.
your thing.
No, finish your thing. I pretty much did.
Oh, you're good. I've been half tempted to use my culinary skills as things for Broodcast, like showing like a big ol'
Yeah, like some
cake
cooking.
or something.
That'd be cool.
Cooking
Bro, I can do that.
related.
Yeah, you can do that, Carrie. You and your Cajun stuff. Hell yeah.
I didn't even know about that. I didn't even know.
That's art.
We need to like expand it. It's like someone shares poetry, someone shares a story, someone shares music, someone
I've
shares
always
a song.
said that. Like, people can do that. They just never take me up on it.
Right. Well, I only have like a couple of different skills that pertain to this. Why am I opening my tortillas? I'm such a big back today. I got myself all kinds of snack food from Sam's the other day, and oh goodness, it's bad.
I'm gonna
I
leave
just,
you
like-
guys for like 5 minutes real quick. I gotta go run in to fix this washer real quick.
By all means.
I gotta remove a bolt. Bolt it back. Be right back. I'm just gonna leave you all on here. to
Sounds good.
Talk whatever. I'll be right back.
All
Okay.
right. While he's doing that, I'm gonna fix this problem. Let's see here. Filters, no properties. I am going to crop
I'm tempted
this.
to run down to my car and grab my cannot think of it. It's the device that holds my phone and attaches to the dashboard.
Gotcha. Let me see here. Okay.
You know, it was weird. It's like I don't know why I never got into like epic poetry whenever it was like in my younger years and even now, you know, really into like hip hop and rap.
Yeah. Well, that's
Yeah,
what started it for me.
Right. I was like, why didn't I ever write those? Because I can rap. I just never do it.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see here. Let's do 100 and 100. I'm cropping the 150, 150. I don't think that's going to cut anyone off, but that keeps the, yep, that'll work. That keeps all the, basically was just kind of cropping the camera area for y'all's thing because my, you know how Mac has the dock that shows up and everything when you mouse over it?
The dock?
Yeah. Like the dock at the bottom of the screen when you mouse over it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Or even the shade at the top. Yeah. Basically, I was just cropping it so that like when I have y'all in the window, that it's capturing video for, it's cropped out so it doesn't show up. So yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, sure. I feel like me struggling to get Discord to open on the Mac. Options, you shall.
If you look on the upper right, does it need an update? The upper right has a little green down button, like down arrow button. If it needs an update.
Well, I think My computer's just old and slow. Whenever I was buffering for like a solid 5 minutes.
Gotcha. Oh man. Alex said maybe, but I'll be on later. Oh, you back?
You're good. Yeah, I'm still here. I'm trying to get the camera to still be the one that I want in my phone.
Gotcha.
Welcome to my spice cabinet. Whoops, you just give me a sec.
That's a good line for your wife on your wedding night. Welcome to my spice cabinet. Ridiculous.
Oh, brother.
That's a dad joke if I ever heard one. How we doing?
Hello.
Hello.
Howdo. Oh,
Just
man.
got back.
Oh, Macarena and oven mitts. That's where we're at tonight. And there comes the peoples. Okay, we've got Alex. Hello, friend.
Hello.
Where are you at?
Ooh,
I'm in Wheeler Park here in OKC.
Very nice. I didn't know y'all had a Ferris wheel.
Yep, we've got a Ferris wheel. It's right off I-40, right off the river.
That's
so
fun.
figured I'd show up and hear y'all's pitches. Hopefully I'll be back on later. But I thought that you guys would appreciate seeing the Ferris wheel and the OKC skyline in the background.
I do. Very much.
Super cool.
Very cool.
So, yeah.
Will you or Abby be sharing tonight? I know you're going to be later, but
I have nothing to share, unfortunately.
okay, Abby.
I would like to.
Okay.
I think I have a document available. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, I think I'd like to.
Awesome. So that's going to be
probably.
so far we're going to have Marty and then the 2 pitch documents from me and Daniel. Joel didn't send something as far as I could see. I thought he might have, but I cannot find it. So but other than that, that's what we got so far. So
I was wondering, I thought I checked who was in here and I was like, oh, I didn't see him.
you didn't see Joel, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think he's got stuff tonight. I knew that he had stuff, but I thought he was going to send something. So
Yeah, I was literally just my sister. I'm like, Joel's usually there by now.
Yeah, Joel has D&D on Fridays.
Yes, usually, yeah. So apparently he's running running 4 different groups. It's kind of ridiculous.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Too much. That's too
I
much.
love it though. He's a fly by the seat of your pants kind of DM who just has like all the lore. So
That just sounds so fun.
Yep.
If I ever get around to running a D&D group, it'll be for like 4 or 5 people tops and like high-end production type of stuff.
That could be fun.
Well, if Joshua, if you and Daniel want to do your pitches right now, I've got about 5 minutes.
Yeah, we got time for that, I think. Do you want mine first or Daniel's?
I challenged you, so I'll take yours first.
Okay, cool. All right. So this is mainly written first person from the protagonist, and with a little bit of an addendum at the end. So just take it for what it is. I'm going to read it in character. My name is Barney Andrews, but people call me Fife, and I am a grade A triple nerd or triple A grade triple A nerd. My name is largely due to the fact that I originally hail from Mount Airy, North Carolina, the inspiration for the fictional town of Mayberry. I still live there, though I commute several times weekly to Charlotte and Winston-Salem for work. What do? I'm getting there. Let the DM weave the tale, silly. You see, that's my actual job. The one I wish I was more well known for and made more money at. I'm a professional dungeon master for games like D&D. Yes, people actually pay occasionally to join my table. Though I'm a much bigger fan of Pathfinder and have many other games I've developed personally, but I digress. Most of a DM's job is weaving countless hours of lore and character dev from your players into shared narratives and statistical combat, poring over tomes and backstories, making sure everything is just so. Just kidding. It's mostly calling your friends up who'd rather watch the big game and whining, "Come on! It'll just be clipped down to a 15-minute summary for social media. Why do you need to watch 3 hours worth?" Two of my most faithful allies in this quest for social and narrative highs are the Tyndale brothers, Andy and Otis. Yes, we all have names from that silly old show. Guess I should thank the gods I don't have a cousin Ernest or an Aunt Bee. Andy is the younger of the two, practical, career-driven. He's a sheriff deputy here in Mount Airy and has a strong sense of community and a very good heart. He's basically the most based paladin to ever exist. While he doesn't make as many sessions as he wants to, he's always here in spirit. His older brother Otis, on the other hand, is just always here. He's my right-hand man, an absolute juggernaut of acting energy. Otis is what you get when you combine a wise old wizard archetype with your crazy conspiracist uncle, mixed with that weird long-haired doctor from the movie Independence Day. He's intense, insightful, and always looks at things from a fresh perspective. He usually plays whatever character is needed to balance out the table, and is the completely selfless enforcer for when rookie players decide they need to go on a bunny hunting tangent or seduce a horde of wild kobolds for no particular reason. And that leads me to my other job, the one that pays the bills and that Andy and Otis insist is the most interesting, despite my vastly annoyed expressions. You see, it all started with a crime here in Mount Airy, where a crime here in Mount Airy, here and there. Andy would come to the table with me and Otis between larger sessions, and he'd be so distraught or distracted that Otis suggested he talk through whatever case was troubling him. A girl had gone missing. 6 dogs had been shot in remote regions of the county, all at the exact same rough time with the exact same caliber. A Bigfoot sighting left more than 24 witnesses swearing we were being invaded by a whole army of them. He'd brood over and sigh over the work, and me and Otis would do what we do best. We'd analyze the structure of the story, draw inferences from Campbell and Young on narrative psychology and archetypes, analyze the motive and narrative structure and all relevant facts and events, and reverse engineer whatever plot criminals had hatched for their nefarious schemes. Whatever we'd actually push aside, sometimes we'd actually push aside our carefully crafted miniatures and draw new maps and roleplay several scenarios. Every time we did this, we eventually figured it out. It turns out humans work in predictable patterns, and a bunch of smart storyteller and psychiatrist guys figured out those patterns a long time ago. We just had the machine by which we could simulate it with raw motivation and numbers, tabletop gaming and narratives amongst brothers in arms. Well, eventually word caught on about my abilities in particular. Otis and Andy were always super modest about their abilities. Andy didn't want to work for a big town or city, and Otis, well, he actually won the lottery a while back and invested well, and he aims to be set for life if he plays his cards right. But he can't exactly afford to employ me full time and do that. So when the Winston-Salem police came calling about a sexual assault case with some weird cult affiliations, I was the one who needed the money and drove over. And that's been going on for 5 years now. I've been caught up in organized crime rings, drug deals, uncovered every lame and inglorious sin you could imagine through pattern recognition and narrative analysis. The cops treat me like I'm some kind of savant, but I'm just a really good storyteller and a decent friend. D&D, and then it changes from his first-person perspective to just my little notes at the end. DNDPD has a framing device of Barney commuting to and from either Winston-Salem or Charlotte. This is usually a combination of Barney listening to sessions of their previous campaign session and thinking, while we use thematic moments from these sessions to tease and wrap the episodes. Larger season arcs generally have him going to Charlotte, while Winston-Salem is more of the standalone episodes. The first and third act are usually in the city, while Act 2 is usually back in Mount Airy with Andy and or Otis. They use a whole bunch of different TTRPGs, which could legitimately be sponsors if this is a real TV show, to help in the thinking process and simulation of crimes. Throughout their show, players will come and go from the table and contribute all sorts of insights. Eventually, Barney gets a girlfriend, though through the tabletop gaming, who actually sticks around. She gets involved in crime occasion. In one episode, we have the literal perpetrator at the table with them, and he tries hard to throw them off the scent, only to be arrested by Andy at the table. He's the perpetrator is non-violent, so they finish the game while they're fully booking him. A nod to Andy Griffith dealing with criminals loosely. So there's my pitch for D&D-PD, a narrative, a Blue Sky, a USA style cop show with a D&D twist. Alex challenged us to write this, Ian. He had challenged me and Daniel to write our own version of this because he didn't think it could be done. Well, Alex, what do you think? I think
it needs some work.
Oh yeah, it totally needs work. This is just a first draft.
For sure.
Oh.
I'm now. Sorry, Alex. Were you trying to say something?
No. I was. I'm walking around Wheeler with Luke.
Gotcha.
Right on. Well, mine isn't so narrative heavy. It's really just the concept, and the hook, and yeah.
Okay, go ahead. I've got like a minute left.
Okay, and I probably won't need that much. So, a procedural episodic murder mystery drama / comedy following the misadventures of a local dungeon master and bookstore owner as news of a local murder shocks his idyllic Midwestern suburb. We follow our main character Jacob as he struggles to keep his D&D group afloat in the face of scheduling conflicts, parental responsibilities, and sneaking suspicion that the killer on the loose may be sitting across the table from him. The episodes would cut between Jacob and his friends gathered around a table, bantering, eating, and talking about the goings-on around town, and dropping possible clues that progressively draw Jacob further into the conspiracy. Game night turns into a game of cat and mouse, in and out of game. And it would directly tie into their little D&D game that they have going on, where the D&D... So it's I was looking for like an adventure module that would kind of narratively tie it in. I needed a concept, just kind of tie it all together cohesively as much as I could. The murder on Prime Water Pleasure. The party is invited, like in the D&D game. I'll kind of skip the D&D stuff since you've got a minute. But the murder mystery happening around the table of the whodunit kind of would mirror the adventure that they're going on in the D&D game. And so you get...
I like that. I like that. I think that might work better as like a YouTube series. Like I could totally see that as a YouTube series, rather than like a full like big budget Blue Sky USA type thing.
Yeah,
but I do like that. I think that's really narratively. Congratulations, you guys! You both definitely got me on this.
I'm glad. Do you like the Andy Griffith spice I threw in there? I see the concept.
I do like the Andy. Like that's definitely swaying me because I do like Andy Griffith. I'm not sure that it fully works with the Blue Sky model.
Right.
Especially the small town to big, like small town to large town thing.
Right.
But yeah.
Well, the main reason I did it is because I see D&D played in like the basement of small town homes kind of a thing versus somewhere in the big city, generally speaking. And so like that was part of the reason for it. Also, I picture if we were going to cast this amongst the brood, you would absolutely be Andy, Brendan would absolutely be Barney, and either I or Carrie would be Otis.
I appreciate that.
So I think that would be hilarious.
I'd be happy with just like a a random towns member that comes in for a game.
You're Aunt B, Daniel.
You're Aunt B.
Aunt B.
He's joking. Anyway.
Okay. Well,
All right.
I gotta go, you guys. I love you. Whenever you come down here next, remind me to take you to the Wheeler District because it rocks.
Yeah, it sounds fun.
Okay.
Talk to you later.
All right, talk to you, man.
See ya.
Bye. Oh, what's up, Ian? How things going with you?
I
Solid?
didn't realize I was on mute.
How's the retail life going?
It's going. I mean, I can't complain. Things are well. I like my job. I don't hate the people that I work with, and I don't hate the people that come
Give
into
it
the store.
2 weeks. Give
Fantastic.
it 2 weeks.
No, I'm happy about
It's
that.
been over 2 weeks.
Well
Yeah,
done,
yeah.
It's
sir.
been over 2 weeks, my dude.
That's awesome.
Oh, it has.
I'm very
Nice.
happy for
Awesome.
you, dude.
I'm
That's
happy
awesome.
for you.
Everyone says that I'm going to hate this job, and maybe one day I will, but I'm gonna kick that can down the road. Right now, I'm just happy to have a job.
I hear that.
As you should.
Abby, did you have any feedback on what Daniel and I shared?
Oh, they both sound pretty great. I
Yep.
definitely see Daniel's as more like a little closer to, Poirot, that
Mhm.
show.
Yeah.
I
What is
think
it?
Daniel's is a little more like Poirot. I could see it as kind of a serialized Poirot. And then I think yours kind of reminds me of the Ghost in Mr. Chicken.
Yes.
Just for the simple fact that Barney's the main character.
Yes. Yep. So
But I think they both have potential.
yeah. See, he basically challenged us. I said that you could totally do a, like the Mentalist and Psych and Monk, how they always have like some kind of weird twist on a cop show where some kind of outside detective has some sort of savant ability. I made a passing joke about like having a DM as that character, and Alex said no, that would never work ever, and I said, oh yeah, it could. Are you kidding me? And yeah, so he challenged me and Daniel to actually write a pitch.
Yeah, my thing was like if you're doing dungeon mastering, you're thinking in terms of systems and pattern recognition all the time, just to kind of set things up. And you would say, like, if there was a player at your table who was engaging in some kind of criminal behavior, and there were reports, and you're starting to see the same
Patterns,
stuff showing up in your game, you're going to end up with a murder hobo, right? At some point. What if that murder hobo was just like actually doing something?
Hashtag murder hobo. Anyway. Oh, that's hilarious. Oh man. So Ian, you're sharing tonight, yeah? You haven't been on in a while. I would hope you're sharing.
Yes, of course I'm sharing tonight. I just had to remember where I left off in Heart of the Stars, unless you want to hear what I've been working on in Uther.
And okay, we got you, we got Abby, and I've got Marty Frankham that I'm going to read from. I don't have Joel. I thought he sent something, but I cannot find it. So any which way, that's what we still have on the docket. Are you looking to read earlier or later? Or just whenever, Ian?
I kind of have to read earlier because I worked 8 hours today and I'm kind of tired.
Okay. Is everyone cool with Ian and then Abby, and then I'll do Marty at the end if we have time?
Sounds good.
Okay. Are you cool with that, Abby?
Well, I already had my turn.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, is there anything further before we get to Ian's turn? From anybody? It's Casey.
Nope.
I figured you were coming in
Hi,
at
Casey.
some point.
The floops.
Floop-a-doop.
You don't have to.
Yes, I do. For a second. Anyway. People love you. You're awesome. You're the reason this thing happens.
I have a knife.
Oh man. All right. If there's nothing else before Ian goes, then Ian, you can take the floor and rock and roll.
Okay, so somebody remind me which chapter I left off in.
Chapter
Oh,
7.
that's me. Oh, wow.
Look at that, Abby.
Impressive.
Just right off the dome.
So did I read chapter 7 or have I not read it yet?
The last one you read was where Dr. Stevens shows up at the house, and Eddie and Bucky went off to go get the Heart of the Stars back from what's his face,
This one's for Abby.
the bully.
I am no man.
Nice.
Alrighty, so chapter 7, an awful lot of spiders. I don't know if you're familiar with what happens moments before death. They say your life flashes before your eyes. This did not happen to Andrew. No, his only thoughts were for Edith and Eddie. How could they avoid this hideous fate without him to protect them? He had a terrible feeling of regret for all the times he hadn't cherished Edith, all the times he'd yelled at Eddie when it was unnecessary to do so. He hoped they would forgive him after he was gone. All of this happened in the split second it took for the spider to get from the tree to Andrew, except it never made it to Andrew at all. The next thing Andrew saw was a flash of bright blue light, followed by the sound of steel cutting through something coarse. He opened his eyes to see the thing cut in two, and a white-haired old man with a glowing sword standing next to the corpse. The old man shook the purple-black blood from... let me try that again. The old man shook the purple-black blood of the beast from his blade and sheathed it in a scabbard at his hip. "Dr. Small, I presume," said the old man. "Yes," Andrew replied. "Who are you?" "I am Azariah," replied the man. "What is that thing?" asked Andrew. "It is convenient to call it an arachnoid," Azariah responded. "The true name is far fouler. I won't say it aloud. Is Eddie about?" "Why does everyone want to know about my son?" asked Dr. Small. "Eddie is far more important than you realize now, and we must find him immediately," Azariah stated. "But first, Dr. Stevenson." "How do you even know about that?" Andrew asked. "Fred told me," Azariah replied. "Fred the cat?" Andrew asked in disbelief. "Yes, of course the cat," the old man replied, as though Andrew should know exactly what he was referring to. "Now show me to Dr. Stevenson." Andrew thought about this very briefly. Who was this man, and why did he want to know about Eddie? Furthermore, what could he possibly do for Stevenson? He came to the conclusion that a man with a glowing sword could probably do anything he wanted. There wouldn't be much Andrew could do about it, and he invited him into the house. There stood Edith, brandishing her bat, ready to club Stevenson any minute. Stevenson was still taped to the chair, chanting the infernal phrase over and over. He hissed when Azariah entered. "You," he uttered in a guttural tone. "Andrew, who is this?" asked Edith. "Help, I hope," Andrew replied. "Come out of him," commanded Azariah. Stevenson roared, struggling against his bonds. "Begone, wizard," he cried. "It's too late. We have found the boy. I command you by the name of All-Wise, the hidden light, come out of him." Stevenson roared again, his chair falling over. The wizard drew his sword. "What are you doing?" cried Andrew. "Do not be afraid," Azariah replied. He touched the tip of the blade to Dr. Stevenson's chest. Stevenson cried out in agony, writhing in the duct tape, and then went still. Azariah sheathed his blade. "He'll be all right in a minute." "What just happened?" asked Edith. "It would take far too long to explain, and I must be off. Suffice it to say that Stevenson's mind was invaded by an ancient evil intelligence, and I drove it out of him. He'll be fine, I need to go find Eddie immediately. Is our son in danger? Asked Edith. Oh, yes, said the wizard. That's why I must leave. Pretty boy, where are you, lad? Fred mewed from near the cat door. Can you lead me to Eddie? Asked Azariah. The cat mewed in the affirmative. Stout fellow. Wait, how do you know what he's saying? Asked Andrew. I speak cat, Azariah responded. He proceeded out the door. I'm coming with you, Andrew said. Me too, added Edith. Someone has to stay and keep an eye on Stevenson, protested Azariah. He's been possessed after all. Andrew, you need to stay and protect your wife. I can do far more for Eddie than you could imagine. But stay, Azariah commanded. Somehow they knew that they should obey him, and further that he could be trusted to take care of Eddie. The two stayed behind while Azariah followed Fred into the night. Now we go back to Eddie. Following the scream, Eddie and Bucky charged into the main room of the trailer, weapons drawn. Thorwald, having also seen the huge arachnoid shadow crawling across the window, had taken his father's rifle off the wall and was about to go out and try to kill it. What the hell are you two dweebs doing here? Asked Thorwald. I came to get back what you stole, said Eddie, brandishing his sword. So this was all a trick? Asked Thorwald, looking at Anna. Anna nodded, gently tossing the heart to Eddie, who caught it and stuffed it into his pocket. Thorwald uttered a rather strong expletive right before they heard the weight of the great monster creaking on the roof above. What is that thing? Thorwald asked. Eddie went quiet. Somehow, in the pit of his stomach, he could sense that whatever was out there was something very powerful and evil. I'll deal with you later, Thorwald growled before exiting the trailer. Eddie had a choice. Follow Thorwald outside and face his fears, or stay inside and let...
You cut out.
Fears on
Yeah, you
Thorwald
cut
getting
out there for a second. Or face his fears is right about where you were at.
Eddie had a choice. Follow Thorwald outside and face his fears, or stay inside and let Thorwald get eaten. Eddie wasn't keen on facing his fears, and Thorwald getting eaten was definitely an attractive option. However, his better nature prevailed, and Eddie went through the screen door, followed by Bucky. Sometimes when I get excited while writing, I miss words or
Same.
spell things wrong. Went through the screen door, followed by Bucky. What are you doing? Don't go out there, protested Anna, nearly mad with fright. Ignoring her, Eddie joined Thorwald outside, followed by Bucky. The three boys circled around the trailer, searching the darkness for the thing. It had vanished into the darkness. Darkness twice, oh well. Fear of the unknown is the most basic of all fears humans experience. Eddie was experiencing that more acutely than ever before. He gripped his sword tighter, hands quivering. Where did these arachnoids come from, and what did they want? These demons of darkness were far, far beyond anything Eddie had ever experienced, and it was like something out of a horror movie. Despite his bravado, Thorwald felt exactly the same, even more so than Eddie, given that Eddie knew slightly more than Thorwald. What was that thing? Asked Thorwald. I don't quite know, said Eddie. Why do you two come out here with those stupid things anyway? Asked Thorwald, gesturing to Eddie's sword. We thought there would be a fight if we tried to get back what you stole, and we wanted to be armed, Eddie said, matter-of-factly. Well, you got that right, Thorwald replied. Why is that little dinky thing so important to you anyway? It was passed down from my great-great-uncle, Eddie replied. I have to protect it. Those monsters want it for some reason. What do they want with a stupid rock? Thorwald asked. Bucky felt something wet on his shoulder. It soaked through his shirt. He felt a slight tingling sensation, followed by a burning. Then he made the mistake of looking up. Guys, said Bucky. What? Asked Eddie and Thorwald in unison. A huge, black, 8-legged monster stood over Bucky. It was about as tall as the trailer, its long legs spanning about 20 feet. Eddie froze with terror. Thorwald shot the thing in one of its 8 eyeballs. This distracted the creature long enough for Bucky to get away. The thing lunged at Thorwald. The boys ran as fast as they could, racing inside the trailer and bolting the door. They stood in the main room, panting. Anna, still perched on the couch, her legs drawn up to her chest in a sort of fetal position. What happened out there? She asked. The trailer rocked. Glass shattered as the arachnoid reached its claw-like forelimb through the window. Bucky, being closest, hacked at the limb with his axe. It withdrew from the window. The whole trailer shook again. Eddie feared it would tear the home apart. Eddie wasn't ready to die. So many things he had yet to experience. Yet here he was, looking death in the face, unflinching. The window nearest Anna shattered as another great claw reached in, grabbing hold of her arm in its vice-like grip. Without thinking, Eddie charged in, stabbing through the window into the monster's face. Out of the way, yelled Thorwald. Eddie ducked down as Thorwald fired another bullet, one bullet after another, into the monster's face, if you might call it a face. Still, the thing held on. All of a sudden, a bright bluish light shined through the trailer's windows. A clear, loud, and commanding voice called out in a language no one could understand. Instantly, Eddie knew it must be Azariah. The spider instantly released the girl, turning its attention to the wizard. What is going on? Asked Thorwald. Without bothering to respond, Eddie and Bucky ran out the door. There they saw the creature cautiously approaching Azariah, wielding a long, glowing sword in his right hand. He pointed the blade at the monster. We meet again at last, said Azariah. The creature backed away, hissing. Go back to the shadows. The beast started to back away, then suddenly lunged forward, grabbing hold of Azariah. The wizard sliced off both the creature's forelimbs with one stroke. The thing backed away from Azariah. I really need to fix the narration in this scene. Back to the pit with you, ordered Azariah. Azariah, said Eddie fearfully. What is it, lad? The boy gestured around them. Azariah gazed into the darkness surrounding the trailer park. All around were moving shadows, creeping, crawling, closing in. 1,000 eyes blinked out of those living shadows, reflecting the street lamps. Eddie's blood ran cold. They were surrounded. End of chapter 7.
Super fun. The of course the cat is one of my favorite lines. It's just such a silly thing. It's like the cat, yeah, duh, the cat. Like, what else has this book been about? Also, the brief consideration of Thorwald getting eaten was just, yeah, that okay. I love it. Anyway, go ahead.
I mean, I want to portray an 11-year-old boy realistically, and
yep.
I'm sorry, 11-year-old boys definitely think about
murder.
What would happen if their bully just died?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, heck, I'm 33 and I think about that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Can confirm. I've chaperoned many adventures with my nephews and his buddies. They do all the time.
Oh man, that's great. Just great stuff as usual. Obviously, like, you know, you've been toying with the story for a while. Some of these elements we've heard before, but minus that little bit that you were saying needs to be cleaned up. I can't say that there's a whole lot there that needs cleaning up. Everything's crisp and quick and feels like it belongs. I think that's one of the biggest things with this series is just everything feels like it belongs where it needs to be, you know, and that's something that I think you're really starting to nail with each increasing chapter we've heard. So loving it. Other thoughts from folks?
You definitely
I'm
like
going
Lord of the
to.
Rings meet Stranger Things.
Yeah. What were you saying, Abby?
I was going to agree with what you were saying. I was just say one of my favorite things in that chapter is how you have both the father and the son facing death and it kind of their different reactions to it, or non-reactions in Eddie's case.
Yeah,
It was nice.
Mm-hmm.
That was not
Now, one thing
intentional.
I missed.
What was,
One thing I'm sorry.
No, go on. That was all I had to say.
Oh, you're good. One thing I missed was the significance of Fred. Like, what did he? Something cut out or something on my end. I didn't quite catch what happened with Fred.
When Fred appears a couple of times in this chapter.
Yeah. I think it was the first interaction. Yeah, it's fine.
And you remember what he did.
It's okay. I will. You need to send me the link, but
We
I
got
enjoyed what
we got time to talk through it, Daniel. This might help other people who are listening and missing that stuff.
Okay.
If you don't mind, Ian.
I guess I enjoyed what I heard and what I could make sense of. It definitely gave me. I love the vibe of the team kind of coming together through circumstance, and it kind of gave the dungeon crawl vibe to the story. It felt like what I wanted Stranger Things to be.
It was in part inspired by Stranger Things. If I'm being honest, it's the whole 80s franchise / Stephen King mashup that Stranger Things was a creative idea. I mean, I heard the last couple of seasons were really bad, but I mean,
They were abysmal.
They had the right idea in the beginning.
Mm-hmm. It honestly would have just benefited from being like an episodic show.
Yeah, I agree. But anyway, yeah, so Fred comes in through the cat door and leads Azariah to where Eddie and the boys are because he knows where they are. Azariah does not.
Okay, and like of course the cat. That's what I was. Okay,
that's what you're missing.
Can you? I'm missing a few more pieces. I think I feel like my brain didn't fully turn on until last week, and
he's been going on about that. He's like, I turned 25 and now I feel like I have a brain.
My prefrontal cortex is finally here. Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
thank goodness.
I thought your birthday was this weekend.
Yep, here in a couple of days now.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Let's see. Can you give me the Cliff's Notes plot summary up until this point? Just kind of catch me up to speed.
You mean everything?
I think I could do it.
That's why I said Cliff's Notes.
You mean everything in the book or just this chapter?
He just means like story
meant,
beats,
like,
not actual, like, you know, literally like what you've got the boys, you've got the cat, you've got the backstory with the grandfather, you've got, you know, all that stuff, and, you know, just leading up to the spiders, the side arc with the bully.
Okay.
Just like how do you put all those together? Can you summarize that without going into mega detail? If you can't, it's okay. He's just asking.
Hang on. I need to get my brain to boot up. So, okay, there's an 11-year-old boy, and he has a bully and a best friend, and the bully bullies them, and the best friend is great. And then they have an adventure in an attic, and they find a magic rock that's older than the universe. This magic rock is part of his great uncle's collection. His great uncle was an anthropologist back in the 1950s, and found this magic rock in a Buddhist temple. Some other stuff happened. Eddie has a phobia of spiders. There's giant spiders. Oh no, what giant spiders? This is Eddie's worst nightmare. He's literally having nightmares about giant spiders since he found the rock. There's a wizard who shows up and saves Eddie and Bucky from bullies, and his name is Azariah, and he has a magic stick and a magic sword.
He's kind of like a hobo wizard.
He's more than just a cat. He's a hobo wizard. Fred the cat is more than just a cat. Fred is a intelligent being that talks to the wizard and gives him information.
And in the words of Obi-Wan Kenobi, the best star pilot in the galaxy.
He is the best star pilot that Azariah has ever known.
Yep.
But yeah, Fred speaks cat-ish to the wizard, and the wizard understands cat-ish.
Okay. I was getting piecemeal. I got you now. Thank you. Okay. That really helps kind of frame everything, put it in perspective for me. No, I really liked it. You know, it got the lizard brain going. I liked all the action set pieces, and this is very kinetic. I felt a part of my brain go from, I wonder how all this food's going to turn out, to,
ooh. You drew him in.
Shiny. So
It gets better. I've hit kind of a slump with the chapter I'm working on now, but I think if I do a little bit of editing with it'll all sing.
Yep, I agree. All right, you sticking around for Abby's story, or you got to get rolling?
I think I owe her the courtesy, at the very least, of hearing her out.
All right, Abby, are you ready to read yours?
Yes, let me go find the document because
Sounds
it is on
great.
computer.
All righty.
Typically, I would look at paper because of these issues.
You must consult the infernal machine.
Yes. That is the problem. But since I'm editing it, it's a little more efficient on the computer.
Yep, that is true.
I feel like Gandalf going into the Library of Gondor right now. And if you can hear anybody laughing in the background, my siblings are watching a detective movie. So
Nice.
it appears to be hilarious. And they found one that like a series that they really are enjoying. I mean, they've found several of them, but this one is new.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yeah, good old Microsoft.
Oh, Microsoft. I am seriously about ready to just completely chuck our Windows installation on our home PC and install some kind of Linux, because all we do is play video games and watch movies and stuff on it. So I should be able to work on Linux theoretically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this one, I mean, usually we have like a lot of whatchamacallums, apples, but like this one computer we have is a PC. Okay, here it is. It's called The Lightning Knight. I'm just going to read the first part. It was a dark and stormy night. Rob Watts.
Sorry, I had to. Go ahead.
So, Rob Watts knew a fae when he saw one. It'd be impossible not to after working 10 years airport security in Greenwich, North Carolina. Sometimes they took off their wings and didn't have to employ the traditional trench coat disguise to hide them, but they could never get rid of that glamour on their cheeks. It was like glitter freckles on their faces, like makeup that Rob's teenage daughter wore sometimes, only the fae couldn't wash it off. They walked with their heads down so no one could see it, made them look sheepish, like teenagers who'd been out partying all night and didn't want their parents to notice. Rob didn't give two spits. As long as the fae didn't cause him any trouble, he didn't cause them any. He would just let them through like all the rest of the passengers. And he would forget to mention them on his reports, too. Since he was the head of security and had no fae problems on his record, everyone else who worked in the airport followed his example. This gave Greenwich a higher safety ranking than most airports these days, and Rob always felt they deserved it. They'd already let one of the fae in tonight, pretty brunette leaving on the 10 o'clock for Cincinnati. She looked so scared and miserable, he'd consider offering her a nice home-cooked meal at his place, but then she'd miss her flight. His missus had never forgiven him for that, though it would be just as much her fault for keeping the girl jawing all night. Besides, the girl was probably headed to a hideout near the airport, the next airport. Her folk would take care of her there. But even with the bit of networking the fae had in place, Rob couldn't blame any of them for being nervous when they had to use the human transports. They had an easier time getting money than cars, or any other means of personal transportation. He knew he'd be nervous, too, if he couldn't leave his house, not even set foot outside the door, without the danger of someone turning him into the authorities. Or, shooting him if they felt like it. Of course, the fae caverns were bigger than Rob's house. He'd heard there was even a whole forest and castle inside. Even still, he couldn't blame them for wanting to escape into the rest of the world. Heaven knew he had to escape his house every once in a while, him and the missus. He'd just thought to mention this to the girl, maybe offer her a little reassurance about traveling. Most humans really wouldn't interfere. When 4 other fae came in, they would have been the biggest, meanest-looking bunch of roughnecks Rob had ever seen. But Rob had 2 brothers-in-law who looked meaner, even if they weren't as tall. They walked into the place just like anybody else. Well, like anybody else who meant to get arrested for causing trouble. They wore dark, ill-fitting trench coats to hide their wings and kept their heads down, shadowed by hat brims to hide the glamour. But otherwise, they were the worst sneaks Rob had ever seen. He put that down to their attitude. They looked more like actors hiding from newspapers than like fugitives. They must have ranked highly in the fae realm, but not in Rob's book. He made sure to be there when they got to the baggage scanner. As expected, the one in the back refused to put the guitar case he carried on the conveyor belt. "It's just my guitar," said the one in the front, the leader, a high-cheeked dude whose eyebrows stuck in a permanent glare. He would have had a million fangirls if he wasn't so obviously a fae. "Couldn't you just carry it in?" Sure," Rob said, after it's been inspected. All he had to do was give a signal, and another security guard would call the authorities with the press of a button. They all knew it. Without giving the fae time to think, he grabbed the guitar case. Something inside made a clanking sound. "It's for our act," said the fae who'd been carrying it. "We're a metal band." "Death metal, huh?" said Rob, chuckling at his own joke as he beheld the contents of the guitar case. 4 fae swords and a flintlock pistol they must have grabbed off the black market somewhere. He looked up into their angry-looking faces. "You boys really expect me to believe that?" He sighed and shook his head. No fae had tried anything this dumb in years. "Call the authorities," he said. There went his whole record. "Wait, I can explain," said the glaring one. He contrived to look blameless, but it really didn't work. Rob almost felt sorry for him. "We're after a dangerous criminal from our realm," the fae continued. "Her name is Fiona of Sturm. Just let us find her and we'll take her back in peace." "Look, son," said Rob, "I don't make the rules. It's my job to report any fae activity. Besides, anything involving swords like this can't end that peacefully in my experience." "Son," One of the other Fae scoffed. How dare you call Sir Cassidy's son? Shut up, the one called Sir Cassidy said. Casting aside subterfuge, he shoved Rob backwards and grabbed one of the swords, stabbing it through the back of the computer before the other guard at the desk had a chance to call the authorities. Dusting himself off, Rob sighed. He failed to remember this on his list of things to do tonight. Pick up some margarine and cake mix from the grocery store on his way home from work? Yes. Deal with 4 Fae hooligans with swords? No. Look, we only came for the girl, Sir Cassidy said. Where is she? Rob instinctively glanced to where the girl had been standing only half a moment before. She had disappeared, but her bag was still there. The Fae seemed to have gotten the idea that she'd been there, and he moved quicker than anybody else could have. Where'd she go? He asked, now holding Rob by the collar and pressing the sword blade against his throat. Oh, this had never happened before. Rob hoped he'd get the chance to tell the missus about it later on. Gate D, he stammered, dizzy now from being shaken. He thought he heard the patrol alarm going off now, and good riddance it would be to these ruffians. They were the type responsible for the plight of the rest of the Fae. Sir Cassidy released his collar and dropped him to the floor with a thud. All 4 of them ran towards Gate D with their swords ready to strike the first person who got in the way. Sir Cassidy managed to grab the pistol too. No one even tried to stop them, though several people screamed. Sir, the alarm won't work, one of the other guards said, panicking while Rob climbed up the side of the desk to his feet again. What do you mean, he grumbled. He squinted at the computer screen. The guard was right. The alarm system had been completely destroyed. He shook his head and rubbed his ears, trying to get the ringing sound out of them. It only grew louder, sounding less and less like beeping and more like violin music. Thunder rumbled far off somewhere. Blue lightning flashed and the thunder rumbled again, kind of like drums to the violin, growing quickly closer. That's weird, the guard said. There weren't any storms forecast tonight. Rob ignored him. The music grew louder now. It seemed like it was coming from all over the place. Gates, the lobby, the intercoms, and the loudspeakers. It had started out like a concert piece, and then picked up and became one of those old fiddle reels, an ancient, dancing, and chanting Fae reel, like Rob's grandfather used to hum on rare occasion. Those were the times when the old man would impart to Rob bits of Fae lore and knowledge. One bit mentioned that only those with Fae blood could hear the reels when they were played on their own instruments. Rob looked around and saw he was right. No one else seemed to be able to hear the music, though a few here and there unconsciously tapped their feet along. The reels had that effect on humans. But then, apparently due to the storm, the power to the computers went out. No one could get service on their phones either. Rob didn't want any part of whatever was going on. He didn't even want to know what it was. But he'd seen the girl duck under a desk when the others came in, and he'd sent them off to the wrong gate on purpose. Hurry up now, he said to her, not bothering to look under the desk. Don't want to miss your flight. The girl stood up shakily, her eyes red and puffy with tears sparkling in the glitter on her face. Thank you, she said, curtsying. She grabbed her bag and ran towards gate A. What's that about? Asked the other guard, still absently tapping his foot along to the music. I don't know, said Rob, flinching when lightning struck again, followed by thunder like he'd never heard before. And I don't care. He smiled when the reel came to an end, just as the 10 o'clock flight to Cincinnati took off. And that's the end of part 1.
Rob is awesome.
Very, very fine. Rob is that's the lead, correct?
Of this part, yes.
Okay.
The second part is from Sir Cassidy's point of view, and the third part is the point of view of the girl who's running away.
Okay, right on. So, yeah, those characters really pop. I was able to catch. I got briefly distracted because the concept of the security guard assessing who's normal, who's a fae, who's who should be here, who shouldn't be here, who's not so bad, and like that concept reminded me of a video game. It's That's Not My Neighbor.
Okay.
It's a horror game. But it just kind of like I got briefly distracted. But no, I love that feel. I love that idea of just being the guy that's like, you get in, you do not, you get in, you do not.
Yeah, he's kind of like a very comfortable in his job type of guy, and he's got like all the authority in the whole place.
When I heard,
Yeah,
when I heard them say we can explain, my mind immediately went to we're one of those Alice Cooper kind of acts. We with the swords. Anyway.
As soon as you started describing him, I immediately the Fae, the guy in the trench coat, or was it a guy? Or
yeah, it's like 4 of them.
Yeah, this is immediately what I heard in my head.
Bibbity, bobbity, boo.
Good one.
That's random.
Yeah,
he wanted to use the soundboard.
I was just thinking of like those, the machine gun in the violin case kind of things.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Classic.
Except instead of a machine gun, it's some eldritch being from the nth dimension.
I love it in like old school Looney Tunes where like they'll pull an actual violin out of a violin case, but then it'll like be a machine gun somehow. Stuff like that. Those goofy gags.
From Acme, of course.
Yes, absolutely.
It's like you know it's coming. Like you know it's coming, but it's always flavored slightly different.
Go ahead, Abby.
Yeah, it's not a very serious story. It's just kind of like it's kind of for fun and kind of, I don't know. It's actually a ghost story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a ghost in it.
I'm highly entertained.
Yeah, I definitely am too. I could do like a whole day, or I could just read him interacting with different people coming up to his desk for like an hour.
You have any thoughts, Ian? Ian, do you have any thoughts? Oh, you're muted. Sorry.
Do I have any thoughts? My initial thought is it kind of reminded me of this, especially the security guard seeing weird stuff and then just taking it all in stride. It kind of put me in mind of Dean Koontz's books, particularly Odd Thomas, where he sees these strange things all the time, and he's just become kind of jaded to it. I like that quite a bit. It made me happy.
I still think the name Dean Koontz sounds like a slur.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
Depends on how you say it.
Yep. All right. Ian, you hanging around for the last story from Marty Frankham, or are you heading on?
I think I'm gonna get ready for bed.
We appreciate you being here.
I appreciate me being here too.
I hear that. It's been too long.
Yeah, it has been too long. Anyway, I appreciate you. I appreciate all of you. Thanks for listening.
Yep. Looking forward to the next one.
All right. See you, Ian.
Thank you for listening as well. We'll see you around.
Yep. Have a great night.
My pleasure.
Alrighty. Well, we got one more, and then we can wrap for the evening. Another shorter broodcast, but I'm kind of enjoying a couple of these shorter ones. I actually end up having some time afterward to get some recording done. I have like 50 pages left in the book that I'm currently reading, which isn't too bad. So it's nice. I usually do I can do about 20 comfortably, and then I have to take a break with my voice, you know, that kind of a thing. It doesn't have to be a long break, but just a long enough break, you know, 10, 15, 20 minutes, sometimes a little longer, and then I can get back to it. That's usually about, close to 30, between 30 and 45 minutes of reading usually, so aloud. So I try to do that much and then take a break and get however far I get. But anyway, so last time I believe we read chapter 1 of Marty's story, or at least some of chapter 1. I'm gonna go ahead and start
Is this
at
the Civil War one?
Yes. I'm going to.
I think I remember it.
Yeah, I'm going to start. Gotcha. I read the prologue one time, and then I read the. Well, I also read one of the pivotal scenes before that. But I'm just kind of working my way through. I'm going to start chapter 2 tonight. May not get through the whole thing. We'll see how it goes. Some of his chapters are a little longer. Some of them are shorter. We'll just see how it goes, and I'll pick a good spot to pause. All right. So this is chapter 2, The Night We Rode Away. And obviously, like, because I'm actually reading this one for him, I've done all the character voices. So that's why it always sounds good when I read his thing, is because I've already taken the time to, like, catalog all the voices in my head. I know what to do with all the characters. So when I do Joel's, he has so many characters, and they're ones that I haven't fully cataloged yet. And I'm eventually going to do his book for him. But yeah, so, all right. By the fall of 1861, the whole South had gone plumb crazy with war fever, and Tennessee was caught in it worse than most. The state finally seceded in June after months of bitter wrangling, and after that, you couldn't spit without hitting a recruiting sergeant or a secession flag, or some fool boy bragging about how he'd personally whip a dozen Yankees before breakfast and be home by supper time. Boys who'd never been 10 miles from home in their whole lives. Boys who couldn't find Virginia on a map if you spotted them. Richmond were strutting around town in gray jackets 2 sizes too big, talking loud about how they'd end this war before Christmas and be home in time for Ma's peach cobbler and Christmas ham. The fever was everywhere. You could feel it in the air, thick and electric like the charge before a thunderstorm. At church socials, the old men who'd fought in Mexico would hold court by the punch bowl, telling war stories that got grander with each telling. And at the general store, farmers who'd never raised a hand in anger were suddenly experts in military tactics, drawing battle plans in the dirt with sticks. Even Preacher Matthews, who'd spent 20 years preaching about turning the other cheek, delivered a sermon comparing Lincoln to Pharaoh and Jefferson Davis to Moses leading his people to freedom. Ma stopped going to church after that. She said she couldn't stomach hearing the Prince of Peace invoked to bless boys marching off to kill other boys. Pa didn't argue with her, which told me how troubled he was about the whole thing. But Samuel, Lord have mercy, Samuel was the worst of them all. Samuel is his brother, by the way. He turned 16 that August, all long legs and big dreams and not near enough sense to fill a thimble. Every night after supper, he'd corner me out by the barn, away from Ma's hearing, with stars shining in his eyes and wild notions spilling out from his mouth like water from a busted dam. Virgil, they're forming up a cavalry troop right over in Knoxville. The Tennessee Rangers, they're calling themselves. Real cavalry with sabers and everything. Captain Miller fought with Bedford Forest Scouts, and he says they're going to be the finest mounted regiment in the whole Confederate Army. Reckon they'd take us if we showed up and ready to fight? I'd laugh and ruffle his hair, still trying to treat him like the boy like he was still a boy. Hold on 1 second. Let me do something here with the visual we're working with. Sorry, just 1 second. If it'll let me. It's not letting me. Yeah, okay, let me just hit that button. There we go. By the way, hello, Brendan. Do you have anything to share tonight or no? Just thought I'd funny. Ask. Oh, but it's good to have you here. Anyway, you can't even sit a horse proper without falling off when it trots faster than a Sunday walk, little brother. They'd take one look at you bouncing around like a sack of potatoes and send you straight home to mama with a note pinned to your shirt. I can ride too, he'd protest, pushing my hand away and standing up straighter, trying to look taller. Been riding since I was 6, and I can shoot better than half the boys signing up. You see me hit that crow at 50 yards last week. That was 40 yards at most, and the crow was already half dead from eating fermented corn. But he wouldn't let it go. Wouldn't let it rest for even a day. Kept leaving crumpled up recruitment broadsides on my pillow at night. Colorful lithographs of brave cavalrymen waving sabers high, capes flying behind them like eagles' wings, horses rearing up in glory against painted sunsets. Found them stuffed in my boots, tucked in my Bible, even wrapped around my breakfast biscuit one morning. Kept humming the Bonnie Blue Flag while he milked cows and mucked out the stalls and did every other chore, humming it loud and defiant till Pa finally threatened to tan his hide for turning honest work into a political statement. Boys got war fever, Pa said to me one night after Samuel had gone to bed. We were sitting on the porch, him smoking his pipe, me whittling a new handle for Ma's favorite stirring spoon. Seen it before, in 46 when Mexico was happening. Young men get it in their blood like a sickness, and there ain't no cure but time or disappointment. What do you do about it then? I asked. Paul was quiet a long spell, smoking and staring out at the dark fields. Finally he said, "Wasn't my problem then. I was already married with you on the way, so I stayed home like a man with responsibilities ought to. But I had friends who went. Some came back missing pieces. Some didn't come back at all. And the ones who did come back, whole on the outside, well, they wasn't quite the same boys who left." He looked at me hard then, firelight catching in his eyes. "You're thinking about it too, ain't you?" I didn't answer right away. Kept my eyes on the wood shavings curling off my knife, watching them fall soft on the porch boards. "Maybe," I finally admitted. "Sometimes, when I'm in town and see boys signing up, hear the drums playing and the speeches about honor and defending our homes. They always make it sound glorious," Pa said quiet. "That's how they get you. But war ain't glorious, son. War's just organized dying. And the glory part's mostly a story they tell afterwards to make sense of the waste." But if everybody else is going, and Samuel set on it, I trailed off, not sure how to finish the thought. Paul reached over and gripped my shoulder hard. "You're the eldest. Your job is to keep that boy safe, whether that means going to war with him or keeping him home. You understand me?" I nodded, but I didn't understand. Not really. How was I supposed to keep Samuel safe when I could barely keep myself from getting swept up in the same fever? Truth was, though, that fever had got me too. Got me deep, right down in my bones, where I could sense I couldn't reach it, where sense couldn't reach it, and Paul's wisdom couldn't curb it. Cure it. Every time I passed the train depot in town and saw fellas my own age climbing aboard with new rifles and new gray uniforms and new names pinned to their chests, names like Danville Tigers and Tennessee Volunteers and Smoky Mountain Rangers, something fierce and proud and stupid stirred in my chest. Pride, anger, fear, excitement. I couldn't hardly tell them apart anymore. They all mixed together into one hot, restless feeling that wouldn't let me sleep right or think straight or be satisfied with plowing fields and mending fences while other boys were off making history. I'm going to pause there. So that's the first part of chapter 2. Thoughts for Marty if he ends up listening?
I haven't heard any of the previous chapter or prologue, but I liked that.
Okay.
Thought it was well done.
I think this really kind of broadens the scope. If I'm remembering correctly, the first chapter, it was just the two brothers, I believe.
The two brothers and their
Wasn't it?
cousin from Boston. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was this. You're definitely seeing the broader world here,
Mhm.
whereas like you're kind of just meeting the characters in that first one.
Yeah.
This is feels like a really natural escalation. I just really liked his scene setting.
Mhm.
He did a really good job of establishing the stakes. It was like repeated throughout the descriptions and interactions of everyone's like idealistic view about themselves within the world,
Mhm.
thinking like, oh, I'm gonna be the hero of this story, and it's like, nope, I'm gonna be the hero. Nope, I'm gonna be nope, not you, not
Right.
you, not you.
Yep.
And like everyone, it's like that really sobering and realistic take on violence and the nature of war. So yeah, it's like I always find that perspective compelling.
Mhm.
I try to incorporate that. Now I'm just like, where does the hope come in? Where does the
Right.
good stuff come in?
Right. Yep.
So
We'll get there.
It definitely leaves you there.
Yeah.
So
Brendan mentioned it last time. He said that the Marty's repetition is actually very good repetition because he's actually spreading out what he's trying to drive home instead of trying to drive it home all at once.
yeah.
So yeah,
It's like
I
every
really
time
appreciate that.
Like every time he repeated that theme, it happened in a slightly different way. Like
Mhm.
it was it the little girl? Was it a little girl who was saying she could shoot better than all the other boys, or is it
No, it was just another guy. He was talking about all the guys signing up for war.
Okay.
Oh, you're talking about the other
It might
voice
have
I
been
did.
something.
That's his little brother. That's his little brother Samuel.
Oh, okay, that's where that
So
was.
Virgil's I think 17 or 18 at this, if I remember correctly, and Samuel's about 16, and so they're like right at the low threshold for getting into the war. Samuel's all for it, rearing and ready to go, and Virgil's trying to figure out like where he stands on things. Virgil's the main character, so.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, it's a compelling story for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely
give you a little bit of the broader
I'm
concept because this is stuff that's like on the back of the book. Basically, it's him going off to war, stuff happening. This isn't a spoiler because I've read it before, but he loses Samuel. And basically after the war, he ends up getting an opportunity to help some people who are going west and earn some money before going back home to his girl who's waiting for him and his parents. So he takes the opportunity to go and learn and make the money so that he doesn't return empty-handed, basically. And so it's kind of a it's sort of a post Civil War Forrest Gump through most of the book, like not like most of Forrest Gump, but like the running across America sort of a thing where he's like learning about different parts of what's going on in the world around him and becoming bigger than he was before. So that's kind of the general premise of the book. So
okay.
Yep.
Okay, so it's not just the war, it's like
not just
things
the war
after it.
Yeah, the war is the first act, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, the war is the first act, basically. Yeah.
Okay, I'm really starting to appreciate that more. Yeah, that's okay. Okay.
Y'all even haven't even gotten to my favorite voice yet. There's a half black, half white character in there called Tiny. And we'll get to him, but his voice is right here. And he got a deep voice.
Immediately the voice I thought it was. Yeah, as soon as he said his name was Tiny, I was like, he's not
oh yeah.
Tiny.
But I love doing that voice because he actually has a lot of really good dramatic lines, and getting a delivery like this is actually pretty great. So yeah, I enjoy it.
That makes sense.
So yeah, that'll be last story for the evening. Unless y'all have more you want to add, I can either stop recording and go ahead into here, or if we want to just continue talking, that's fine. Happy to hang with Brendan for a bit if he's looking for it. on or off air. Doesn't matter to me. What do you guys think?
Well, I gotta. Sorry, Abby.
That's up to you guys.
Well, I got a 12-hour shift tomorrow, but I kind of gotta clean and do chores and all that stuff, get myself ready for it.
That's probably a good idea.
But like I got like another hour in me while I do all that.
Okay. I'll probably hang for another 30 to 45, maybe something like that, depending on how things go.
Okay.
What's going on with you, Brendan?
Nothing that I feel comfortable talking about on a recording.
Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and end the broadcast there then, and just hit the stop recording.